Talk about my friend Tamla Horsford. Her case, unfortunately, is a lot like the Nolan Wells case. She was out with people who were not her friends, actually. She'd never met most of the women at the party, or the men. There was only one friend that she had known for like 5 years there. But as we know in the Nolan Wells case as well, those were not his friends. But similarly in Tamla's case, I'm going to post pictures here where you're going to see the medical examiner took back injuries that the police used to declare her death an accidental fall. The police and the medical examiner state that her neck was broken, her wrist was dislocated, when in reality, the medical examiner, a year and a half later, when the case was opened by the GBI, which he worked for, but they had never interviewed him the first go round in the police investigation for Forsyth County Sheriff's Office in Cumming, Georgia. He actually took back the broken neck and said it was actually only hyperextended, which was what the police said killed her. They said her broken neck. And then they said her wrist was dislocated in the autopsy, when in reality, the independent autopsy that the family also had to do, similarly as in the Nolan Wells case, the independent autopsy revealed many more broken bones, many more injuries, but the wrist was actually a compound fracture with the ulna bone protruding the skin, and it was post-mortem, which the father also brings up in one of his many interviews with Forsyth County Sheriff. But as they mentioned in their interview, they only went by the Georgia medical examiner, the GBI autopsy. They would not consider the independent autopsy. They did not want her case on social media. You'll hear them talk about that in interviews on my profile. And why not? Why didn't you want it on social media? Because they didn't want it to turn into what Nolan Wells case turned into. The public outcry, the protests, the big names like Crump and Kaepernick and Tyler Perry coming out and demanding justice. So Tamla, unfortunately, has not gotten her justice, and it's been 7 years. November 4th of 2018, she lost her life with a group of white people. There were 4 men present at that party that she was invited to, and like 9 women who all say they didn't see anything, but we all know that's not true. Because as the father stated in one of his interviews, which I'll also post on my profile, one of them said in court that she left before it went down. Well, that right there shows you know something happened. You know what happened. And GPS that the GBI obtained a year and a half later showed that she didn't, in fact, leave the party. She was there. So they all lied, which we already knew. But in my case, they tried to sue me for defamation. They tried protective orders. They tried filing false reports of stalking against me, saying that I was harassing them and stalking them because they wanted me to shut up. So this case did not get out onto social media like the Nolan Wells case did in the beginning. After 4 years of them trying to sue me, mind you, only 7 of them sued me. There were 13 people there, but only 7 felt defamed, oddly enough. And they finally, after 4 years with not a single piece of evidence, dismissed because the judge wanted to know who was paying for their lavish lawsuit with 2 attorneys and 7 plaintiffs. They did not want to divulge who was paying for the lawsuit, so they dismissed. That in of itself is another huge red flag, because I believe the county was also involved in trying to cover this up and in suing me to keep me quiet, which clearly has not worked. As you can see on my profile, in fact, I even wrote a book, 200 plus pages that you can read. It's available on Amazon or Barnes and Nobles. It's called Search for the Truth by Michelle Graves. And no, I'm not trying to make money on my book. I get about $3 or $4 every time I sell a book. I just want people to know what happened and the injustices that are still going on in Forsyth County as far as the racial tensions and the racism that is still alive and well today in Forsyth County, Georgia. But take a look at my book if you want. If not, I don't care. I just want you to know about this case. If you have never heard about it, go to YouTube. There's been hundreds of podcasts. You can listen to the police audio and different body cam and different audios I have on my profile about this case. And the injustices that were done to Tamla Horsford. And I only hope that Nolan Wells gets his justice because those were not his friends. Much like the women at Tammy's, the party she was invited to, those were not her friends. And again, many people, have heard differently. There's been a lot of misconceptions, but she only knew one of the people at the party for a good bit of time. Everyone else was Jean's friends, the lady who was having the party, the one you'll see in that birthday video that has gone viral with the big A on her t-shirt. She's the one, it was her house, it was her party, and Tammy had only met her 2 months earlier at only a football practice. And she makes a point in her statement to police saying the only reason that she even was friends with Tammy, not even friends, I'd say acquaintances at the football field, was because her son wanted to play with one of her boys. She had 5 boys. So her son, John's son, wanted to play with one of Tammy's boys. And so that's the only reason that she even befriended Tammy. So again, those were not her friends either. So thank you. And I hope you'll help in my quest to get justice for Tamla Horsford.
What's the address? What is your name?
My name is Jean Myers, Jeanne. Yes.
Okay, what's going on?
We had people over last night when we were drinking. Most of us went to bed. One of them stayed on the balcony. She was drinking, and we just went outside, and she's laying face down in the backyard. It looks like, I'm guessing maybe she fell off the balcony, but she's stiff.
Okay, is she breathing?
I don't know if she's face down.
Okay, how old is she?
41. Here, hold on.
Hey, this is Jose Barrera.
Hey, have y'all checked to see if she's breathing?
She's not moving one bit. She's not breathing.
Okay.
I just try to assess her, touch her. She's completely face down in the yard. She is stiff.
Okay. Do you know if she, do you see any blood or anything where she... Are you there?
I am.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I was outside.
It's okay. I'm not sure what happened to the line there for a second. Do you see any blood or anything from where she fell?
I don't know if I should move her over. I mean, she is completely face down.
Okay. I mean, can you just check and see if she's breathing? If she's not breathing and you know she's gone, then just leave her where she's at. If she... Okay.
I'm completely not sure.
Okay. And that's the only blood that you would see?
That's what I can see without moving her over. I haven't seen her face.
Do you know if she was suicidal at all?
I have no clue. I've met her one other time. Like my girlfriend said, people were over last night. She was her birthday party. We're not the woman that we believe to be deceased, but it's my girlfriend's birthday party. Instead of having everybody go out, she had everyone stay in. And she was the last one I saw before everybody was typically put off to bed. And she was the last one in the kitchen. She was just either waiting around for a ride or waiting until the morning.
Okay. How far is the where she would have fell from? How far is the deck from the ground?
I would probably say 20 feet.
Okay.
20 feet from where your feet would be on the railing. The railing itself is maybe 3.5, 4 feet.
Okay. And what is her name?
I know her name, we call her Tam. I'm assuming that's short for Tammy or Tamra. Her name is Tam Horsford, Horsford, so a black female. I don't believe anybody was. My girlfriend has cameras here on the back deck that we can check.
Okay.
That I think would have caught the incident if she fell from here. Again, I don't know. It's hard to say if she fell from the deck or if she was already downstairs. She was the only smoker here, and I'm sorry. There's a lot of information.
Do you think she's possibly out there smoking?
Yeah, she was the only smoker. I mean, I'm on the back deck right now, and cigarettes, lighter, that type of thing are out here.
Okay.
I'm just trying to see where on her wrist might have came from.
Okay. All right. Are all the people that were there last night, are they still at your house?
Okay, there are 4 people that were here last night that are no longer here.
Okay. And they just left this morning, or they leave last night?
Do you know roughly what time each of them left? Like, who they completely overnight? I'm assuming. We can check. She's got an alarm system that gives alerts when the doors are open on her phone.
Okay.
But I think the last time that I personally saw Tam was probably about 1 in the morning before I'd gone upstairs to bed.
Okay.
And at that point, she was the only one in the kitchen. I don't know.
Forsyth County 911.
We're waiting on the medical examiner, and we're pretty much concluded. Outside of that, depending on what that result comes back to. In other words, when that result comes back, depending on what those results are, that could tell us to go left or right or forward or backwards or whatever else. But until we have that,
so then you're not pretty much concluded.
we think we're done with interviews, with other things like that. But the autopsy report could tell us that we have additional work to do. So until we read that and see that, I can't answer that with 100% certainty. Does that make sense? In other words, until we know what the medical examiner's findings are, if the medical examiner's findings went this way, it may tell us we need to go ask more questions.
All right, from your first report, your police, I hate to say it, but it was kind of shabby. Guy comes, he looks at the body and predetermined it was an accident.
All right. So let me start with one thing.
Let me just finish what I'm saying.
One second. I'm not going to discuss the aspects of this case with Ms. Graves. I've told her 10 times she is not a party to this case. I will with you, but I'm not with Ms. Graves. Okay? So if you want to ask those questions, I'm happy. Look, you deserve answers, and I'm happy to answer anything that I can for you. But I'm not going to discuss that with Ms. Graves.
Okay. So what can we discuss?
You and I can discuss anything you want, but I'm not going to discuss particulars of this case with Ms. Graves.
She's family.
Okay. Again, if you want to discuss it, I'm happy to. She's not a party to this case. You're the father, the husband. You are both parties to this case. In other words, lack of better words, and I think an appropriate word, you're victims of this case. All right, you've lost a loved one. Friends and family are victims too. But I'm not going to discuss aspects of this case that end up on social media. So if you want to discuss that, I'm happy to do that. But again, I'm not going to discuss it with Ms. Graves.
Okay, so there's a little mistrust there, based on what you say.
No, I'm telling you that I'm happy to discuss this with a family member. I'm not going to discuss it with a non-family member.
So how would you know I would not present social?
I don't, but I can ask you not to, and it's a trust factor that I give. Okay. And you deserve the ability. Look, you lost your daughter, and you deserve. I'm a sheriff. When somebody has lost a loved one, a family member, and they want to come see me, I meet them, bar none.
Which I do respect, but
Graves, you want to go sit out in the lobby and
we'll be happy to talk with him.
and let him have this conversation?
Is that what you
Yeah.
want?
Okay, so yeah.
And I'll call you soon. Yes,
Oh, no, that's fine. I'll sit out there and wait. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, again,
can I reiterate?
yeah, sure.
A job that was so shabbily handled like, okay, there's a dead body. I raised my concerns to Michael Christian. There was a cut on her wrist. There was no blood pool. I told him that body was placed there. Now I'm just briefing you on stuff you might not have heard, which I know I'm right, because I have my other reasons why I did my own autopsy.
Let me stop here. Can we get a copy of that autopsy?
It's waiting to be completed based on the copies I get from you guys. Which
No. The private autopsy that you did. Can we have a
so
copy
if
of
they're
that?
not complete,
Oh, it's not complete. Okay.
it's just
So you're
preliminary finding.
Okay, so if there are preliminary findings from a secondary autopsy, we would love to share those with the medical examiner
Yes.
for the state of Georgia, so that they can make sure that...
Well, you guys knew I did it because I know what gets around. But
knowing you did it and being able to share those... Look, we have... Can we agree on one thing? That we both have the same reasoning? We want to find out exactly what happened to your daughter?
well, I think it's a process, stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. So
I disagree. There's one stage, and that is finding the truthful answer of what happened to your daughter.
That's what I'm waiting on 90 days now.
Okay, I get that. And where we're at is exactly, we have done hundreds and hundreds of man-hours of work. We have interviewed dozens and dozens of people. We have got toxicology results back, and we're waiting on the medical examiner's report of the death investigation that the medical examiners did. If there is other evidence that you have that supports whatever, because I don't know what it is, then we need to share that with our medical
examiner. A few
examiner.
things with you.
Sure.
Why did you read the original police report? I guess you have.
Sure. That is a basic report from a first. So let me explain the process.
Well, let me just finish my point, and then I'll listen to you. Her clothing was not taken. We sent it into the GBI. Sometime during the day, because I was in Boston when I got the call. I came down the very next morning. 2 policemen brought her car to the house. The crime scene wasn't swept properly. Her shoes.
It was not what properly? I'm sorry, I did not understand what you said.
Wasn't checked properly. I know that. Her shoes, I had to go and get it from where they were at the house. From the pictures, there were so many inconsistencies. I don't know what you know of me, but I have some idea how everything works.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, let me finish. The car was brought to the house a few hours after everything went on. Her clothing, we personally sent them to the GBI.
You sent clothing to the GBI?
Yeah.
And this is clothing that she had taken to the house and was just at the house, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Right, so she was in her nighttime attire.
Right.
When she passed away.
I did a luminol test on her shoes. There was nothing really revealing. inside of the house was not checked properly.
In what way do you think it wasn't checked
Well,
properly?
when I was in Michael's office, I saw a chart with, and these are just personal observations, where the next door camera was not working. I spoke to the next door neighbor, their camera was working. Because they knew the police were at the next door neighbor's house.
The camera on the front of the house was working. The Ring camera, it points out, it does work, but the camera we thought was a camera on the back was just a light. It wasn't a camera.
Yeah.
So there is no camera out back.
Yeah, but we're looking at body movement, which the front house camera would.
It just captured the neighbor's yard. It didn't capture the front of the incident location.
Exactly. So we know who's exiting, who's leaving, who's going outside. Nobody knows.
But nobody knows.
It's not really a relevant example.
Well,
it's
there could be.
I'm not
saying
looking at
that.
hard facts that I have accumulated. That's why my first response to you when I came in, you tell me what you know.
So, and that is, we look at factual evidence. So we look at the crime scene, we look at evidentiary statements, physical statements made, spoken statements made by people.
Yeah.
We look at discrepancies in those statements.
Did you examine the word placement and the evidentiary way in which it looked as though it was rehearsed? And this lady saying she left before it went down, and this person, where the body was found, you drag a body, she's pretty heavy. You lift it by the shoulders to get it where it is. There's no motion where the body was dragged. There's no like skid motion if that person fell. There's no blood pool where her favored hand, she's right-handed, was found with a gash and a protruding wrist bone. No blood. I know that you don't have evidence of any stuff that was tested around that area. Because I did express to Michael that, don't give me that story, that body was placed
So let me ask this, because when I say that, I'm just basing off my experience of having done a lot of death investigations, and both of these guys. Let's assume that I believed it was criminal at the time. At the very moment, I believed it was criminal, and I'm making that hypothesis again. I don't know what I would have tested around the area.
Where's the blood from the cut on the wrist?
That's a question to be done. But as far as there's nothing to test on the ground, you photograph it, you look for the absence of or the presence of.
Where's the drag mark from a fall? When you fall, you don't just fall. There's a forward motion or a backward motion. Maybe. I saw the forward.
Maybe.
I examined.
In some cases there are. Some cases there are not.
Come on, guys.
There was a, I don't know how much more we go into this, but a divot in the ground from impact.
Was that?
A divot in the ground from the impact that was consistent with the size of shape.
Not from the photos.
It's there.
No. There's one piece of brush mark from the hand that's not favored because she's right-handed. Her right hand is behind her back.
You can share that. I mean, so my understanding, and correct me, because I didn't investigate this. So
there's no drag marks from her toes.
There are no drag marks. There are no drag marks or what you want to call.
Then the body was placed there.
Yeah. So
no,
I don't agree that in itself indicates that. But they did find a depression in the ground.
Yeah.
That could be consistent with
the fall
and the impact of mass.
Where the body was?
So
so
that's
this
not
is something else
information I
that
got.
shed some light on this. When we talked to the medical examiner, she did have a fractured neck.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she did. It wasn't fatal. It wouldn't have been a fatal fracture, but it was broken.
No, it was not.
Okay, then this is.
I'm telling you from what I was told from my
All right,
pathologist.
so let me share. We're telling you what the preliminary, some of the preliminary stuff.
Oh, that's preliminary.
Preliminary from
Okay,
our
so don't
ME.
state it as a fact.
Okay. Well, this is what the ME is telling us in their preliminary. They have stated it fact. Now we have to wait for the final report to see that they go back and review everything again before they write the report. We do that.
Do you know all the damages that she had?
We know some basis of what the preliminary, what they told us. We were there at the autopsy. Okay. And so they shared with us, we physically went and were there. A detective was there. All right. So we go as far as that. We don't just wait.
What detective was there?
I can't tell you that for sure. I
have to go back and look.
If it would be my Christian.
Christian went.
If he went.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
So likely, but I have to look back. I don't know
me
who it
and
was.
Christian went to the GBI and sat down in the medical examiner's office, reviewed the photos with him, explained everything that we knew, and had a conversation one-on-one with the medical examiner. I can tell you we did that.
Okay.
I don't know if he was there during the actual autopsy.
All right. So look, typically we do, but we went and sat, and one of the preliminary things they told us verbally was she had a fracture to her neck region. Let's call it that. I don't know specifics of
No broken neck.
what that was. Okay. Then this is what I'm
My
telling you.
information comes from one of the most highly respected pathologists.
All right, give me his name and I will call him today.
I have to get it. Pathologist reported findings of postmortem injuries.
Okay. If that is evidence of some potential criminal act, I need that so that I can
But
share
you
that
should
with our
have
medical.
it from your autopsy people.
You're right. If it's there, we should.
Yeah.
But the medical examiner, we can't be adversarial. Okay.
No.
We have
Listen to my
the same goal, and that is to get you and Tamla's husband the answer of what happened to your daughter and his wife. Okay. If it was my wife or my daughter, which I have a daughter, okay, I want the answer. I may not like the answer, but I want the answer, whatever it is. What is the truthful answer?
Well, how the story was painted at the beginning for Michael. I don't know why he's not here anymore and why he's in uniform, but that's not my business.
Nothing to do with his
No, I am not saying that. I'm not saying that. I just...
Yeah. So, I told you early on, and I told you, we often hypothesize amongst ourselves of, we hypothesize these through, and then we play devil's advocate, and we go, no, because if it had bumped...
You have a gash there. You have no soiled white pajamas. There's no blood pool where her hand was. Come on, what do you want me to think? Like,
So again,
heaven or something.
we depend on the medical examiners to be able to verify these things.
Yeah, where's the blood pool from the cut wrist?
And they should
And
be able
from
to
the
tell us.
911 call.
We've listened to that.
Okay, so the guy takes the phone from the person who made the call. And his first thing was, it looks like an accident, or she might have committed suicide. Okay. Oh yeah, that's very obvious, yeah. Cut on the wrist, yeah, and no blood pool where hands are. No blood at all.
Well,
come on.
And that's where we
Listen
depend
to
on.
me.
That's where we depend on the medical examiner to tell
I'm a
us.
well-educated
Based
guy,
upon,
if you don't know.
based upon the cut, based upon the other things, should we have seen something that we didn't see?
Well, I just pointed out what you guys didn't see.
Well, again, that's where we wait for the forensic evidence to back up. So we have photographs of everything else. So the medical examiner, let's assume, going on your hypothesis, you said, if a person is cut in a certain place or in a certain way, and there should have been
a blood pool.
A blood pool, right? So
that means this was part of the story.
Well,
and when I went to court with Michelle, every story that these people gave was a story that was well rehearsed. And every person had the exact same story that I could have even repeated before they, well, not repeat, but
we have interviewed
I have
most of these folks.
I have one thing that struck me deep. Michelle knows the name. I have it written down. She said she left before it went down. You should have that in your notes of the judge. She left before it went down. What went down?
Okay.
She
No. It was my.
Was when you found Tam laying down.
Right.
There's been some talk of her arm, I'm sure you know. A lot of that stuff is public at this point. But did you ever touch her arm?
No.
Okay. Did you see anybody touch her?
No.
Other than you?
No.
Now, how do you remember her arms? How do you remember her lying there?
Completely face down, arms down by her side.
Both arms down? None of them bent in any way?
No.
Alright. As far as, and some of these questions I'll ping pong around, so I apologize. The 911 call, you said something about checking the video. Was there any video associated with this?
No, I knew that Jean had cameras at the house, and that was the extent of it.
Okay.
Obviously, we found out later that the cameras have been dead, or the batteries have been dead, but...
So at the time of the 911 call, did you know that they were dead?
No.
Did you have access to those cameras?
No. You mean like physical access to, like, I helped set them up, but as far as like going through the app and reviewing any footage,
did you have the Arlo app that you could see?
No, I've got it for my house, but as far as Jean's account, no.
Okay. It never did?
No.
Okay. Did you ever see any video? I mean, when did you know that they were no battery they were not charged?
I mean, shortly after all this happened.
Who told you that, John?
Yeah.
When you touched Tam, and again, if I reference anything from our last interview that's incorrect, then just let me know.
Sure.
Okay. So last time I spoke with you, you said that you walked up to her and touched the back of her leg, I believe it was?
I'd initially tapped her on the back to try and...
On the back or the back of the leg?
No, like on her back.
Okay.
Like initially tapping her, trying to get her attention, get her to wake up.
And did you touch her leg at any point?
I did.
Which leg? Do you remember?
I was on her left side. I can't say for sure which one I'd guess the nearest one, but.
And you kind of said that you knew she was deceased, that you just knew. You said she was stiff.
Right.
But then you just knew. Could you go into that a little more for me?
Well, honestly,
was she?
Well, it was cold in general that morning, but I probably just more of rigor mortis. Honestly, just.
Did you ever check for a pulse?
No.
What did you look at, I guess?
Well, as far as the investigation on the death itself, obviously that's not public because it's still an open investigation. That was just going in and seeing if it had been closed out and just kind of clicking around. Never edited anything, never deleted anything.
What all could you see? Was it the actual report? Could you see that?
I mean, probably the initial from the responding officer. It wasn't much at that point. I mean, it happened pretty shortly thereafter.
As far as the stuff on Michelle Graves, can you go into that for me a little bit? What you actually looked at?
That would have been just any prior cases, anything like that, anything that she had in the Forsyth County court system, and that's the stuff that's public and probably still public information.
Did you make note of anything? Did you print anything out?
No.
Did you provide any of that information to anyone else?
No.
What do you recall in the investigative summaries with the TAM's death investigation? Do you remember any details of
No, honestly, no.
the report?
Nope, just seeing that it was in there, but that's it.
Did you share any of that with anyone?
No.
Did you tell anybody that you looked at that?
Honestly, I can't remember. I mean, I'd hate to say no, I didn't, and it's possible that I did.
Who would you have told if you did?
If I did, it would have been Jean, and then even then it would have been that I did it, but not any details on anything. More of the action itself.
Was that lawsuit going around at the time? Was that going on at that time? Is that
so I don't know when they filed. I wasn't on the lawsuit initially, and then it wasn't until February, March, maybe of this last year when it all. Basically, when I got sucked into it, I mean, I stayed away from it as much as I could. I wasn't speaking to Jean. I didn't speak to anyone for the party, like minimally if I had to. So I wasn't associated, and then essentially it kind of drugged me into it. So I was like, okay, I'll join in on the suit. But that's about the time that it would happen because once Tam had died, and then Michelle came out of wherever she came from, and then, you know, started making all this noise. That's when I was like, well, you know, who is this woman? Like, she's, I've got to at least, yeah,
She making noise, so Tam was November 3rd, right, or 4th, that morning. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, these inquiries you're making in the computer, and that's around December.
Yeah, I mean, I got terminated, on or about the 20th, somewhere around there. So, I mean, somewhere in a 6-7 week period, just a couple times in between that.
Okay. And so, is it fair to say you're just curious about Michelle Graves?
Yeah.
She was making
just yeah, I mean, she wasn't friends of ours by any stretch. So, just kind of figuring out who this woman was, and a lot of people have, you know, prior cases, civil, criminal, whatever it is. So just kind of a, you know, is she as crazy as she's sounding to me? Let me check.
Did you live with Sean at the time?
No, I've never lived